Deadlock has a character who's basically what you'd get if Hellboy quit the paranormal task force and got a private investigator's license. Big, horns, has a coat, and is permanently unimpressed. That's Abrams. Now I want to talk about him first out of everyone because hiding inside this very simple looking character is my favorite idea in the whole game. And it's all about that book you just watched him chase. Okay, basics first. Abrams is an Ixian, which the game describes as a race resembling the demons of old literature. And I love that phrasing. Not demons from hell, but demons from books. Think less doom and more the kind of devil people in the 1800s. Ixians usually get some kind of firepower to go with the look, but Abrams didn't. He's the exception. The one demon amongst the roster with no pyrotechnics at all. And if you play him, you know his whole kit kind of follows the same logic. Punch, gun, shoulder charge, tanking damage, generally just being very hard to kill. While the rest of the roster is bending time and throwing ghost, Abrams is over here with the toolkit of a 1940s beat cop. And it's the most grounded and practical kit in the game, and I don't think that's an accident, because everything about this man is kind of like he's a detective. His literal job is something went missing, find it, put it back, close the file. He is, top to bottom, a guy who keeps things in order, which makes it very funny and kind of cruel that the universe handed him the book. So the way it entered his life is already the best scene in his lore. One morning it just happens to be there, sitting on his desk. No sender, no explanation, just a heavy ancient book that just feels very wrong to look at. And a note sitting beside it written in onyx blood. 5 words. Don't let them have it. That's it. That's the whole briefing. A lesser man would have just threw the book into the river, would have burnt it, would have just forgot about it entirely. But Abrams kept it. And the city has been punishing him for it ever since. His home has been broken into, his office has been tossed 3 separate times, his car is firebombed in the street. Somebody wants his book badly enough to burn his whole life down. He still doesn't even know who them is. The fast version about what the book actually is. Try to imagine like the Necronomicon from Evil Dead had a baby with like the One Ring. Powerful, it's evil, adjacent, and possessed of its own agenda. And the lore backs this up in 3 ways. All right, so 1, the life draining that we see Abrams use with his one, it's not really his power, it's the books. It eats and siphons life away from other people around him, and he's just the guy holding it. It kind of works off of like Venom rules, where the suit does all the work and the suit has its own opinions and biases and its own agenda. 2, my favorite detail in his whole entire kit, the book fights him. Mid-battle, it'll tear itself free and try to fly away. And Abrams, ever the pragmatist, has learned to ride the escape attempts, turning the book's breakouts into his own alt-seismic crashes. He says it himself in voice lines. He'll be ready the next time this thing tries to fly away, and he'd better figure out the damn book before it gets him killed. He owns it the same way you own a dog that bites. Technically, but with vigilance. Think like a pit bull. 3, buried inside the game's files is a visual novel. The Binding of Oathkeeper. Locked behind a console command, only chapter 1 is open and the artwork is stripped out. It stars Lady Geist, and it's where we learn what this book has actually done. One of its pages was used long ago. Conjure a being called Oathkeeper, and when Geist touches a single torn out page, other thing on the end of it screams. For the D&D players, every page might be a scroll of summoned deity. For everyone else, someone tore out page whatever and got a god, and the god seems to remember. So here's the whole setup the game gives us, and it's genuinely great. The most orderly man in the city, the guy whose whole life is closing files, is permanently stuck to the one object that refuses to stay filed. It escapes, it kills things, it attracts every dangerous person in the city like a lighthouse because everybody wants it. He can't have a normal life while he still has it, and he can't put it down because whoever picks it up next is a problem for everybody else. The old alchemist used to say all magic either does one of 2 things. It either takes the world apart or it puts the world back together. Abrams is the type of man that puts things back together, and he happens to hold the ultimate taking apart machine. Here's the detail that really sells me on the writers knowing what they're doing with the dude. Look at his wrist. He wears a broken handcuff, a restraint, and his horn is broken, and it just seems like everything that would bind him to like a responsibility happens to be broken. The dude carries like a flask on his chest. He's rough and gruff, but is seemingly responsible. He's charismatic and kind. He just seems very like, I don't know, filled with personality despite looking like it. So what does he want? In the ritual, the big wish granting tournament the whole game is built around, everybody's swinging for the fences. It's either cure my mom, make me a god, burn down my enemies. And Abrams, holding maybe the most powerful object in the setting, wishes for its destruction. That's it. He just wants to destroy the book. Let me go back to my desk and my normal cases, enjoy my nice, quaint, quiet life. And it's the smallest wish on the board, and it might be the hardest one to actually grant. But to get it, he has to make a deal. Patrons, the godlike beings running this whole ritual, basically work like warlock patrons in D&D or the crossroad demons in Supernatural. They've got enormous power, and as far as we can tell, no real hands in the physical world. So they sponsor people who can fight for them, who can worship them, who can do whatever, all in attempts to grant a wish. They're like investors basically, and they can't build the thing themselves, so they fund somebody who can, and they always take their cut. Here's the problem though. Abrams doesn't really trust them. The lore is explicit about that. He's working with the patrons and is openly skeptical that they'll actually hold up their end of the bargain, which makes sense. When you think about his day job, it's a rough spot to be in. This is a guy who reads people across the desk for a living, and his current client literally doesn't have a face. Which brings us all the way back to the footage, because there's one thing I can't stop thinking about, and I generally want your take on. The book has escaped before. It's fast, it's powerful, it clearly goes wherever it wants to. It could be anywhere with anyone in the city, but somehow it keeps ending up with the one guy who's sworn to destroy it. Maybe that's a testament to Abrams. Maybe Order really does just win. Maybe Abrams really is just that guy. He's just super stubborn and he is always able to capture the book. Or maybe he's never caught that book once in its life. Maybe it stops. Maybe it waits. Maybe the Book of Literature Demons is keeping its favorite little devil detective on retainer for something later in the story. I genuinely don't know which one it is, and that's why I think is the best written simple character in the game. They have so much more that they could expand upon with what they've built. So tell me which side you land on in the comments, and if you've got a third theory, I want to know even more about that. Next one is supposed to be about Lady Geis, the woman who died rich and somehow got richer. Remember, you're beautiful.